Thank you very much indeed for coming through. Now, you here for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but your family heritage is very much that of South African. Tell us, how do you relate with the Suzmans in South Africa?
Well, I was born and grew up here in South Africa, and my great aunt was Helen Suzman, who was obviously very involved in the anti-apartheid struggle and engaged a lot with President Mandela, both when he was in prison and out of prison. And more broadly, just personally, I think a sense of engagement around society and global justice and global poverty is a lot of what's animated my own career, and is part of what leads me to be at the Gates Foundation today, which is an organization really committed to addressing many of those issues.
All right, so Helen Suzman is the great aunt of yours.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, what actually convinced Bill Gates to come deliver this lecture?
Well, as Mr. Gates said in his speech, he felt privileged to get to know President Mandela when he was initially just CEO of Microsoft, but then also when he and Melinda started the foundation. And President Mandela was a great inspiration to him and Melinda in terms of why they should make a commitment to give their fortune away early, as relatively young people, and committing to key areas like HIV/AIDS and health issues. And so I think for those reasons, Mr. Gates was incredibly privileged and proud to come and give the Nelson Mandela lecture yesterday.
Yeah, and one could tell from his speech that he could relate to the challenges that are facing us. We were just speaking to the granddaughter of the late Dr. Nelson Mandela, who was also saying that his speech actually, spoke to us as South Africans and the challenges that are facing us.
Yes, absolutely. And the major theme he had was really about the power of youth. And he talked about how his own early career in Microsoft showed that young people really are the innovators, are the energizers, are the people who can take society to the next level. And as he and I and others travel around Africa, we see that across the continent today. And as a reminder, Africa is the youngest continent. And it's in 2050, 40% of the world's children will be African. And so that's really where the future lies, and that's, again, where Mr. Gates and the foundation are really committed to try and provide opportunities for all of those children.
No, that's great stuff indeed. In a YouTube video leading up to the lecture, Mr. Gates mentioned his and the late President Mandela's HIV and AIDS related work, and we've just learned that he will be addressing the AIDS conference taking place in Durban.
Yes, absolutely. So he will be traveling to Durban. AIDS has been one of the biggest and most important areas that the foundation works on since its inception 16 years ago. And we provide support both in research around HIV, search for a vaccine, search for new treatments, but also prevention and broader treatment. And South Africa and South African institutions have been great partners throughout that struggle. It's still an enormous challenge today. We still have real huge infection rates, especially among 16 to 24-year-olds. So while we've made great progress, especially in putting people on antiretrovirals and treatment, there's still a great deal that needs to be done, and that's part of the message that Mr. Gates will be bringing to the Durban conference.
Okay, do we know when will he be delivering the address in Durban? Is it today or is it during the conference?
No, it's during, I believe he'll be delivering the keynote address on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. All right. Now, talking about the societal issues that you have just mentioned, I mean, we do know that there is a global concern about the funds that they're drying up. What do you think the solutions could be to the problem?
Well, part of the issue is resources. It's investments that need to be made, and they need to be made by African countries themselves. There's a role for private sector and business investment. There's a role for foreign aid. There's a role for philanthropies like ourselves. And I think the challenge is, particularly at difficult times like today, is to find where are the highest impact investments and how do you help mobilize those resources and make sure they're really directed where the impact is going to be greatest. And that's something that we think about a lot.
All right, no, that's where we're going to leave it, but thank you very much for your time, Mark.
Great, thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. That's Mark Suzman talking to us about Bill Gates' lecture that took place in Pretoria last night. Well, let's wrap up the bulletin now with some indicators.